everybody, this is Randy with Carchaeology, and I wanted to do another video showcasing the work of Dave Rosenstiel. The recent video that I posted up of part 3 of the trilogy of the cars he's built has gotten a lot of attention, and people are really enjoying his work, and I really want to share as much of it with you guys as much as possible. Now, I've bought 3 cars from him that he's created at home, and I've taken them to new heights. So the one that's right behind me, this is a poster from VW Speed magazine in Germany. This was the first car that I got from him in raw form, and then finished it off, restored it, and brought it up to a level that was show-worthy and magazine-worthy. And then I did the same with the second car, the 5-window coupe, and now with the 3-window coupe that I recently got from him, I want to repeat that as well. But there's been a lot of interest in the way that he did this stuff, and so I've compiled a bunch of photos of the builds of all 3 cars that I'm going to share with you in this video here, so anybody that's motivated and excited about trying this sort of thing themselves, they can do it. Now, before you ask, once you see all of these photos and you see the work that's been done here, Dave will not do this for anybody. This is not something that he does. It is purely a hobby. He builds these cars for him, and by some grace of God and luck, I'm the guy that gets to take his projects and then finish them off into something like you see behind me here. And he's become a very good friend. I have the greatest respect for him, and he respects what I do with this stuff as well. And so it's really, really been a wonderful thing. In any case, follow along here, take a look at the photos, first of the Rosenstiel Roadster, then the 5-window coupe, and then builds of the 3-window coupe that I have right here. And then I will follow up, of course, with the project as I restore this and turn this into a real complete show-worthy car. But come on, check this stuff out. It's pretty amazing.
So the first car was the Rosenstiel Roadster, and as you can see, he started out with quite the pile. But bit by bit and piece by piece, he assembled this pile of junk into a really incredible Hebmuller-inspired replica. And this was all done in the late 1990s. And then when he got the car finished and running and driving, he brought it out to California in 1998 when it was in black primer, and brought it to the VW Classic where I first saw it. I fell in love with it. We kept in touch over the next couple years, and then eventually, boom, it showed up on a car carrier at my shop, and I started my adaptation or my part of the trick. So first was paint. You know, I wanted to paint it an original VW color. I chose a color called Agave Green, which was a 1957 Beetle color. Got the car together, changed wheels around a couple of times, but really tried to trim it out with period pieces to make it look like a legitimate coach-built car. And rather than go hot rod with it, which would have been probably the most common thought with a custom like that, I really wanted to give it some legitimacy because the quality of Dave's work was spectacular. So I put a lot of period pieces in it, split window era trim, I put a Hebmuller badge on the cowl, did the interior with a lot of vintage stuff, and it was an incredible car. I absolutely loved it, and I kept it for many years. But in 2008, when the economy was kind of doing its dump, I needed money to feed the kids, and it went up for sale. And so it went off to Europe. It's in a private collection there somewhere, and every day I wish I still had it. It was featured in magazines all around the world. It won a ton of awards, but it was gone. But Dave started on a 5-window coupe a number of years after that. And he kept in touch with me during the process, and I told him, hey, when you're done with that, let me know. And eventually that happened. But he sent me all of these photos to document the build. And this is the stuff I wanted to share in this video, is so that people could see the process of what he used and how he did it to create these cars in his own garage into something that's really amazing. Now, Dave does this for him. he really enjoys this process. It's a hobby for him, and to take a pile of junk and turn it into something like this is what he loves to do. And when he's done doing that, it turns out I'm the guy to take it from there and turn it into something else. So here's the 5-window coupe when it first showed up here at the lab. I challenged myself to build the thing up very quickly to prep it for a show that was coming up, and tore it all apart, started prepping things for paint, and painted it right here in the lab. Worked lots of late night hours and stuff to get this thing all put together. But again, I wanted to do it myself rather than sending it off somewhere, because that's what Dave would do. So I painted it Dove Blue, which is a VW color. I got the kids involved with helping me mask things off and stuff like that. Painted the engine compartment and the dash and under hood first, so that it would have a good gloss finish there. And it was fun to see the color go on and see this car really start to come to life. Now for the exterior, since I didn't have a whole lot of time to do real finished body work and prep before this event, I decided to do a patina finish, which I could knock out in a much quicker amount of time. So once the interior panels were all painted and it was looking nice and shiny, then I could focus on the exterior and getting all the interior details together. Basically I scuffed it down. I layered on some different colors of paint and primer and stuff like that. So as I wore through the top finish, I would have some color come out. I mixed up a base coat of the Dove Blue out of a base clear combo, but I just laid the base. Spread it all out there. It left a nice sort of a dull finish that I was able to go back and color sand and work through and then polish so that it had a nice warm shine to it. And obviously it's not a legitimate patina, but it came out pretty good. I was really pleased with the overall reaction. And the before and after of a week there was pretty nuts. I borrowed these wheels from a friend, thrashed like mad to get this thing together in time for a photo shoot. I had a photographer from the French VW magazine called Super VW come out and rolled it out in the front of the yard, and he shot his photos and then had it done in time to bring to the VW Classic. People went nuts for it there. It came out very fun, and it was fun to sit back and watch people's reactions to it. And I changed that car up a bit over time as well. I gave back the big 17-inch wheels to the guy I borrowed them from, put on the stock Steelies, put on trim rings, drove that car around an awful lot. And then at one point I mentioned it to a collector in Europe, and he said, well, what would it take to buy it? And I told him. And so it was his. But I made a deal with him that I could bring it to the Volksworld show in England in 2016, and he allowed me to do that. So my daughter and I flew over, we brought it to the show. I've always wanted to be a part of that event because it's something I've seen for many years. And so we showed it there at the event along with the magazine articles and stuff from all the magazines that it was in. And it was a blast. I mean, everybody really loved it. It was very well received. I got a chance to hang out with all sorts of friends and have a really good time. And then lock the thing up, send it back to the collection where it sits in England. And boom, now we're on to chapter 3, the 3-window coupe. Now, Dave took a ton of photos of this build, and this stuff I'd like everybody to really pay attention to. You can see how he stretched the doors, both inner and outer. He started shaping the roof, starting with the doors and then working his way around back to the cowl. And this is all really super fun to see because you can see the seams, you can see where he spliced things together, and you can see how he used pieces from other cars to make all of this happen. It's an immense amount of work. It took him years and years of labor working on this thing in his backyard, in his free time, and putting it together into what I picked up from him recently. I love these shots where you can see the vision starting to come together. There's the Super Beetle cowl as he laid it across there, stretched it out a little bit in the center. So now you've got the hood opening for the back. Stretch that out a bit. Just all of it coming together is really pretty awesome. And I don't know, it's like just watch. You can see the inner structure of the top of the hood in that one photo there. You can see the lower section of a deck lid that he used there, laying over another piece of a hood to kind of visualize what the overall thing is going to be like. There's the rear window section kind of held in place temporarily, and now the shaping of the roof. And again, every bit of metal that he uses on this is a chunk of metal from an old VW. He's not using new steel. He's recycling Volkswagen parts throughout the whole build, and then hammering it all together and making it into something amazing. So there's an oval window dash that he spliced in, started working on the inner door structure so that the inner and outer are matched and working properly. A lot of time with fit and finish to get all of that in there to work. Here's sections of a hood used to create the deck lid. You can see those pieces kind of coming together. Just kind of magic to see all of that happen. He uses a section from another hood to do the central part of it, tacking that in place. And then he's got this tool here that he created, a die, to kind of whack that little edge, that ridge down into place. And here's the car really kind of coming together. It's just pure magic. So I love the kind of Old Bug logo on the door there. I just wonder if that was intentional, like he knew it was going to end up coming my way. But come my way it did, and obviously recently, I went and picked that up from Dave and have brought it back here to the lab. And hopefully I'm going to repeat what I did with the first two cars. I want to take his handiwork, his incredible craftsmanship, really, and put a nice frame around it so that it is, a complete show quality, really presentable magazine feature level car, and to continue the whole Rosenstiel legacy. So anyway, I hope you enjoyed those photos, some process photos, and weren't annoyed too much about my little talk about them. But there you go. What a cool thing. Thanks for watching, everybody. Keep on digging them up and driving them.